like it. Two of us equals flea treatment. Share.
Hey guys, welcome to another video. I'm Billy.
I'm Michelle.
We're from Chronically Bookish. So today is a little bit late to the party, but it's the March wrap-up. I'll be talking about 5 books.
And I'll be talking about 1.
That's alright. Okay, well let's just get into it.
Okay.
The first book that I have that I finished in March was The Wizard of Once by Cressida Cowell, who wrote the How to Train Your Dragon series, which the movie was based off, obviously.
And it was read by David Tennant.
David Tennant, yeah.
Yay! One of our favourite actors.
So that book is about, broadly speaking, so it's a fantasy, it's a sort of children's YA fantasy. In this world there's warriors and there's wizards, and they're sort of on opposing sides. There's the wizard boy Tsar, who's I think the prince, if I remember. And he's a bit of a dud. He's a bit of a failure in his father's eyes, not doing that well.
Right.
Just sort of running off, doing his own thing, causing mischief, causing trouble.
Right.
Anyway, so he gets it into his head because he doesn't have any magic yet. His magic hasn't come in. So he gets it into his head that he's going to go find a witch. Now the witches are evil.
Okay.
Not the wizards, but the witches are evil.
Okay.
And he's going to go and get some bad magic so that he can get some magic. Anyway, along the way he meets Wish, who's the princess of the warriors.
Okay.
Yeah.
A little complicated.
Not really. I mean, it's
Might just be me.
Maybe I'm just not explaining it well.
No, you are. It's me, I think.
So anyway, they meet, and they're of course from opposing sides, warriors and wizards, and
Bit of a Romeo and Juliet situation.
Sort of.
Opposing sides.
Yeah, not exactly.
Love
but anyway,
story.
there's this whole little adventure that they go on, and the Wish's mother, who's the queen of the warriors, is not a very understanding and kindly person.
How nice.
So yeah, there's a bit of conflict there.
Right.
Yeah, but it was a lot of fun. It's, you know, one of those books that you read just to sort of... It's light entertainment. It's fun, it's good. There's nothing groundbreaking or amazing. It's nice, wholesome read, especially read by David Tennant.
Yes.
It's a huge amount of fun. So
Is
yeah.
he in his original accent in this book?
Yes, original accent all.
Yeah. His actual accent is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
nice Scottish broad for you.
Then I read City of Ghosts by Victoria Schwab, or V.E. Schwab.
Yeah.
But this one is a YA book of hers. So she writes under Victoria Schwab. And this is about a girl, Cassidy Blake, who can see ghosts. Or she can see a ghost because she had a near-death experience. And then after that, she could see Jacob. And Jacob becomes her best friend. He's dead. And she can cross over into the Veil, I think it's called.
Okay.
Sort of ghost world, basically. And it's a story of that. And her parents are ghost hunters, so they have this new TV show, so they're traveling around the world, and I'm pretty sure the books follow the TV show as they go to different places. So in this book they go off to Scotland.
Nice.
Yeah. So it's good. The audiobook was okay. It wasn't brilliant. Some of the Scottish accents were questionable.
This is what happens when you use audiobooks.
But again, just one of those sort of like, I didn't hate it. I didn't absolutely love it. It was good. It was fine. It was great to just sort of let go for a while and listen to a book that wasn't that serious.
Sure.
Yeah.
How do you think the writing style compares with her other series?
Darker Shade of Magic. I didn't love it as much.
Because it's YA, so it would be different.
It is a little different. I still enjoy her writing. I just preferred the Darker Shade of Magic if we're comparing.
No, I'm just
So
wondering.
yeah, no, I enjoyed it. It was good. I may or may not continue with the series. We'll see. So do you want to talk about The Collector now?
Sure. So I read The Collector by John Fowles. Excuse me, I still have a cold, as you can probably tell. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's a psychological thriller. I really enjoy psychological thrillers, but I don't read them very often, which is a bit counterintuitive. But yeah, this one was really good. It's about a man who, well, he's a bit of a weird man. He's very quiet, very has very old-fashioned ideas about the world. The book is actually set in the 60s, I believe. That's when it was written. And he just is quite an odd person. And we're reading about a recollection of a story that he's telling. And right up in the beginning, you realize that there is something quite strange about this man. And very soon in the beginning, you also realize that he's abducting a girl in his local area that he has been stalking for quite a while. So, quite a heavy book. I really enjoyed it. I'm not going to talk too much about the rest of the story because obviously that comes up first. The idea is that you're watching that story unfold between the two of them and what happens with her, and yeah, it's really adrenaline provoking. Like every time I'm reading it, I'm like, what's gonna happen with her now? He's quite an odd person though. He's not really portrayed as any kind of other character I've seen that has a similar storyline. Usually when you have a story with abduction in it, the characters are quite the same, if you know what I mean. So they are like portrayed as very evil, they're violent, you know, they're sexually abusive, that kind of themes tend to run through. This one's quite different because while he wants someone in his house, he wants to abduct this person, he thinks sex is revolting and vile, and so he's such an interesting character. And I really liked the portrayal of the character that was captive. Her name is Miranda. Unfortunately, I can't remember the main character's name because he goes under an alias while he's with her. So anyway, Miranda is the girl who is captured by him. She's a young art student, and what's really nice about this book is that you get his story first up until a point, and then you get her story told in journal form, which is really nice because you get to see how she's feeling and what she's doing, and kind of an insight to that character, which I think this book wouldn't be as good if you didn't get that insight.
Because he lives in such a strange, like the way he thinks about the world is so...
It's bizarre. It's completely different.
Disconnected to reality.
Yeah, it's really different. You know, he just...
So you can't get a real sense of what's going on.
No, and he also thinks that he's a ordinary, normal person, and he talks about this story as if it's just something that happened, and you know, I wasn't really planning for it, you know, that kind of thing. And obviously he definitely is planning for it, but it's just, yeah, it's actually quite a brilliant book. Yeah, I recommend you guys read it because it's really good. Billy will never read it.
I will never read that.
But if you like psychological thrillers and you are happy to deal with some heavy material in your books, then I think this one is definitely good.
Cool. Nice. So now I have How to Stop Time by Matt Haig. I really enjoyed this book. I didn't go into it knowing a whole lot, which is sometimes a huge amount of fun for me. Often I want to know everything, well, not everything, but I want to know what the book is about because... because you either go in and you go, yeah, this is great, or you go in and you go, ugh, I don't know about this book. Yeah, I mean, look, it's always a bit of a roll of the dice, but sometimes I'm really not in the mood for a book, and it affects my... I'm sorry. Are you okay? Oh, bless you. I'm sorry. Oh. I couldn't hold it, I'm sorry. So, anyway, if you want to know about this book, it's about... so we've got this world it's our world, but it's magical realism. So there's a condition that people will have that only a very rare condition where you will age 1 year for every, what was it, 20 or something like that, normal years. So you will live up to about 1,000.
Wow.
And you will age, so the aging process is slowed significantly. So you still age and you still die. So you're not immortal, but your
life is longer.
Super slow.
Yeah.
So this is about a man, he was born Etienne in France in 1500 or 1510 or something. And his story is told in flashbacks. So we've got present day London, where he's a history teacher, very fittingly. And it centers around, so obviously flashbacks, telling his story, how we kind of got to this point.
Yeah.
But there's a society that a man called Hendrik has set up called the Albatross Society, which he says is to protect albas, because they're called albas because it was once thought that albatrosses were once lived for hundreds and hundreds of years, with the longest living mammals.
Wow.
And then so you have albas, and then you have oh no, I've gone blank. The rest of humans, which are mayflies, because comparatively we live such short lives.
I see. Okay. Yeah. All right.
So every 8 years, if you're part of the Albatross Society, you have to. They will relocate you every 8 years, give you entirely new documents. They'll place you wherever, different country, different occupations.
Wow.
Yeah. So every 8 years you have to move on, and in as payment for that, you have to recruit. So you have to go out and convince other albas to join the society.
How interesting.
So it's all a bit ominous and a bit odd and a bit weird.
Is it slightly dystopian?
No, it's not dystopian. It's our world.
Okay. Yeah, sorry.
As
yes,
is.
You did say that.
It's just that there's this condition that exists.
Wow.
And it's so he was born Etienne, but he goes by Tom. No, I mean obviously he goes by many names over the years, but in this he's Tom. In present day he's Tom. So it's him coming to terms with, losing people that he's loved and trying to exist and survive and what that means and
I would imagine moving every 8 years would be very difficult.
Very difficult. You're not allowed to form attachments, and if you do, then they mysteriously might disappear. So
no wifeys or children's or partners for you.
Yeah. So a very interesting book. I really enjoy Matt Haig. I think, first of all, he's actually a really massive advocate for mental health. He speaks very, very openly about anxiety and depression in particular. So he's a very interesting person. I read his Father Christmas series last year at Christmas.
Yes.
It was a huge amount of fun. It was great. Which is, the first one is the origin story of Father Christmas. Yeah. It was great.
It's really good.
So then I read this. This is a huge amount of fun. I'm very excited to keep reading his books. I love his writing. So yeah, that's that one. The next one, I'll just put that back. The next one I have to talk about is Our Souls at Night by Kent Haruf. And I have thoughts and opinions about this book.
That's why I'm laughing already, because I've heard them before this video is happening.
I couldn't keep my mouth shut.
No, it's fine.
Too irritated. So so I first watched the movie with Jane Fonda and Robert Redford, and I really, really loved the movie. So I was like, okay, let me give the book a go. Because usually I love the books more than the movies.
Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry, you're not boring. I'm just sick. I'm sorry.
Oh, shame.
Continue.
You alright?
Yes.
Okay. So it follows the same premise as the movie, or the movie follows the same premise as the book.
Yeah.
We've got two people who are in their 70s, I think. 70s, 80s. I don't think they're in their 80s. But anyway, whatever.
An older
couple.
So
So they are neighbours. They live in this small town in America. They are neighbours. They've known each other for years because this is a small town, so they know of each other. The woman, Jane Fonda's character. Oh no! Again, straight out of my head as soon as I say
Oh
it.
gosh, you told me the name and I can't think now.
Oh come on!
We're doing very well
today. Is it
today.
Edie? Is that right? No. Hold on. Wait. So it was Addie.
Okay.
It was Addie. Addie and Lois, sorry.
Okay.
And Addie was good friends with Lewis's wife. Both their spouses have passed away. They died. And Addie goes over to, this is the very first chapter, so no spoilers. So Addie goes over to Lewis's house and has a proposal for him that at night he comes over and sleeps in her bed with her. So not a sexual relationship, just the companionship, because she's lonely at night. And she says to him, on the nights are the hardest, don't you think? And he agrees. So he thinks about it and he agrees, and then they start this relationship where he will come over to her house at night, every night, and sleep in her bed with her, and they will talk with the lights off for a few hours and then sleep. And they get into this routine, and their relationship grows, and you find out, obviously, more and more as they talk with each other about their lives and their kids and all sorts that's happening. And there's a great dynamic between the two, because Addie she doesn't care anymore what people think about her. Like, she couldn't be bothered living for other people.
If you're at that age and you're in such a small town, as if she,
Yeah, she just doesn't care. She's just doing her own thing. She just wants to be happy and, Oh, aeroplane. Why?
All we ever get is airplanes.
So there's this dynamic between the two where she's quite an independent person. She's not really caring what people think, and he's caring a bit more about what other people are saying and what other people think around
in
town.
A small town.
So that's all good. Like we developing this really beautiful relationship. Oh, come on.
Sorry for all the airplanes. It's just what happens.
Sheesh. Alright. So we're developing, throughout the whole book, we're developing this really nice relationship between the two, and there's all sorts of complications, like Addie's son is a bit of a dick, and
to put it mildly.
And the grandson comes to live with her, and there's a beautiful blossoming relationship between the grandson and Lois, and he even gets a dog, and I mean there's a lot of really nice moments, and the writing is beautiful, and then we get to the end of the book, and I don't know how to say this without spoiling it.
You could put a spoiler alert.
I mean, okay, so
do you want to put a spoiler alert?
Broadly speaking, we've got this character set up of Addie, who's an independent woman who's sure of herself, who's confident, and knows what she wants in the life. Then suddenly the character changes at the end.
Yeah, I hate that.
And she becomes an entirely different character, I feel, and I don't understand why that person would respond like that.
It didn't make sense.
Particular situation. I mean, I don't know how to say it without giving things away.
No, that makes sense. Basically, we're looking at a character who is very strong in themselves. Obviously, they were set up that they don't care about what other people think most of the time.
Yeah.
And then, unfortunately, in a specific situation, that person's kind of like way that they live and do things in the world completely changes, and there doesn't seem to be a reason. Yeah,
I feel like, and then it ends when I'm like, hold on, what? I need a lot more explanation for this.
Yeah.
You can't end like that. Like, that makes no sense to end it like that.
Yeah.
And it's not you could argue it's not a typical Hollywood ending, because they changed as far as I remember, they changed the ending for the movie, so it is a bit more of a Hollywood ending.
Sure, of course, movie is different.
I need a reason. If you're going to end it like that, give me some
explanation or
yeah.
development to
Yes.
explain why she would do something
Why?
that's so out of her character.
So that's my feelings about that one. I'm very conflicted because I loved it up until like, you know, there.
Yeah, I think that's very common though. Like, I have books I really liked, but the endings really irk me. So
Oh, absolutely.
I suppose it's a thing.
Absolutely. So then the last one that I finished in March was Guards by Terry Pratchett, which I have here. Is that it?
Yes.
So, Guards by Terry Pratchett, which I have talked about a fair bit, actually, at this point. So it's the first one. Maybe I'll just talk real briefly.
Yes.
Because I don't have much more to say about Terry Pratchett than I've already said. All his books I love. The worst book for me from him is still a really good book. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there is, like,
yes.
I haven't come across one that I'm like, oh, that was really not great.
No, I
really
think it's
didn't
because
enjoy
he's
that.
very specific. So if you're not going to enjoy one, you're not going to enjoy most.
Yeah. So this one is about the Night Watch, which are the night policemen, and they get a new recruit who has been brought up by the dwarves, but he's very clearly not a dwarf because he's about 6 foot something.
Yeah.
So, so anyway, it's a lot of shenanigans, fun stuff. It's just a huge romp from beginning to end.
Yeah, it's funny. I've just started listening to the audiobook because I haven't read Guards yet in Terry Pratchett's series, but yeah, it's funny from the get-go, which is something I noticed with the books that I've read from him, and I'm sure something that you would reiterate because Billy's read more than me. But yeah, he's like a writer-comedian almost.
Yep,
It's
absolutely.
great.
Like, I just finished Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. So it's, you know, they're not exactly the same.
No.
But it's like funny like that, you know, it's kind of ridiculous, silly humor.
Yeah.
But a lot of depth to it, a lot of, you know,
Definitely.
a lot of stuff. I mean, there's 1,000,001 quotes that you could take from these books, and they're just hilarious.
For sure, absolutely.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know if I should talk more about it. It's just the ridiculousness that is the Night Watch and Ankh Morpork and the whole world that's set up there, and the political structure and the secret societies and power struggles, and
it's great. Look, to be honest, it's hard to talk about the Discworld if you don't know much about the Discworld, if that makes sense. If you've never read the Discworld, it's actually difficult to describe, I think. Some people do it very well. There are videos out there which are great, but I think that, yeah, once you've started reading Terry Pratchett, there's a lot of similar things that happen. It's not that it's boring and it's the same thing over and over again, but just the joy of reading those novels comes from his humour, and if you haven't read it, it's difficult to describe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think, was that everything?
Hitchhikers?
No, I just finished that.
Oh,
So
no, it's in the April.
can't talk about it yet.
No, I think that's it.
That's it. Alright, well, yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Me talking about 5 books.
And me talking about one.
Yeah.
Sorry it wasn't better. Bit of a cold and stuff, but I wanted to do it anyway.
Of course. No. All good. So, like, comment, subscribe. Yeah.
We'll see you in
Let
the
us know
next
if you
one, I
enjoyed
guess.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, bye.